The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
Another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. The show's so good that we can have the worst intro music ever devised. Bad 80s disco music. Yes, if you listen to the intro out here, for some reason, inexplicably to me, we find the music that people want to listen to the least to enter my show. Well, we'll find out this and many other conundrums. Enigmas wrapped in a riddle today on the Power Trading Hours. We continue to wait for a great announcement tomorrow at, 1:15 tomorrow from the FOMC. And it is going to be interesting. But we shall see. Anyway, going to take a quick look at the markets. If I can actually find them here. Have to keep everything moving around. We're up 7.5 points on the S&P cash on 1.8 billion shares. So we are pushing these highs with extremely light volume, up basically 3/4 of a point percent on the NASDAQ with 933 million shares. So a fairly light day out here. Not unexpected. What you don't like to see is pushes up to these highs. If you are bullish, that means that probably most of the shorts are slowly exiting the position. And tomorrow when the announcement does come, you could have a big pocket of air below you. There will be no natural buyers from probably about that 1685 level and above. So we have a market that is primed. I suspect that we're going to have fairly low short interest percentages here. And if we do have a positive bounce out of the news tomorrow, if the light volume actually continues, we may have what would you say, just a time where we could have an extremely volatile market. S&P moves of 60 or 70 points up and down intraday would not surprise me with the thinness of the markets. So just looking for a lot of volatility. It's just like any time when you're in the eye of the storm. As soon as it moves a little bit, you are more than welcome to see just what is really on the other side of that eye, and we continue to see a lot of that. So what can you say? Anyway, not a lot of volume, not unexpected, and we're probably going to have a whole lot less volume into the announcement tomorrow, early afternoon. And we got plenty of time to actually figure out what the Fed is saying and what it is going to mean. A few stocks out here that we want to take a look at today before we get into a lot of stuff. One of them is Apple. It is had a little pop out here, little being the operative word, and also light on volume. Now, when I look at options out here, it still looks like 465 to 470 for Friday. But we did come down on a lot of volume last week, and that's continued back in here. The next support gap is at 435, but I have a feeling we've got a rather large player in here. We're also going to start seeing pre-order numbers probably in the morning, I suspect. And that may be enough. I think what we're seeing today is a little pop on that. I think we can continue to see more and more PR moves out here. For those people that are new to the show, I talked about early on going to some Apple events in Moscone Center. There they had 3 or 4 different convention rooms. Some of them held 200, some of them held 400, some of them held 600, some of them 800 and 1,000. And so what Apple would do is figure out how many people wanted tickets to one of these, and it wasn't assigned seating. And if they had 800 tickets that they gave away, they would rent all the rooms and put a sign out of the one with the next smallest ability to hold it. So if they gave 800 tickets away, they would take the room that had 600 people in it to make the illusion that people just couldn't stand it, couldn't help getting back in. And how do I know this? I talked to the guy that ran the banquet department and rented the rooms. And he said that they rented every room every single time, and they would always give away so many tickets, so people were streaming out the doors to give the illusion of it. They are the king of PR, and I don't think any of that has actually changed. There are a lot of great books about how the kind of PR that came from Silicon Valley has moved into politics. And all politicians basically follow almost all of this stuff, and it was to a great extent developed by Apple in the 1980s. It was all about shaping and twisting and, to my point, perverting the truth. But it's not illegal, and it's I don't know if it's immoral or not, but it's certainly there was nothing left to chance in any of their presentations. And if it could be manipulated, they would spend the time to do so. And I was always an engineer kind of guy. I always wanted the specs. I wanted to know when it was going to ship. I wanted to know, the nuts and bolts of it. Kind of guy that gets the spec sheet for the car and wants to know how much horsepower on it. Doesn't matter how many nice pictures you have of it driving up and down the Pacific Coast Highway. I'd like to know a little bit more about it, read about it, and find out how I can get the car tuned probably the way I want it. But that's not something that Apple likes either. They are truly, in fact, if you want to read more about the mind control experiments of Apple, there's excellent books out there from Guy Kawasaki. He was what they called their lead evangelist. He was out there to convince people, much like evangelists in the spiritual world go after folks. They would purposely find people that had little or no voice and groom them to be people that would go and stand on the mountaintops and scream about how great the product was. Their products were good, and in this case of the Apple iPhone, they've had a product that is beat or exceeded all competition, probably into the last 6 months. But it continues to be something that I'm wary of, that I am always looking out for, and that is it real or is it spin? And, Microsoft did the same thing. Microsoft was going after Lotus's 123's word processor, and they said Word was going to be out in 4 weeks, and it took about 9 months before Word actually came out. It later leaked by an employee that left that there were 3,000 major bugs in Word at the time that it went to Comdex. And there was not a chance in hell. But what they did want to do is freeze the market. Every sale that Lotus 123 didn't get was the money that they couldn't spend in the war, in the coming war, for the Office suite type of programs. Of course, Microsoft eventually caught up to them and did well, but and eventually running basically Lotus out of that Office suite business. But I digress. I just thought about a lot about that. Of course, we're going to see that PR spin come, and of course, we're probably going to see a lot more of it from Wall Street with Icon pushing that stock. I just thought it's kind of interesting, especially a teachable moment in technology stocks when you watch the hype. And they don't watch exactly the actual sales dollar amount. If you caught my time with Tom O'Brien on Friday, we talked a little bit about margins and the new 5C. They're going to have to sell 2 of them to make up for every one iPhone. If you think that's bad, they have to sell 4 iPad minis to make up for every one iPhone sale that they get or don't get. So it is very tough for them to come back and get anything that'll approach the high end of their business for making money. And of course, when the margins start to drop, the mice will leave the sinking ship, and pretty much why we've seen Apple way off of its $700 price point, and that is that they can't duplicate those kind of margins so far with any other product. And the rest of the products, iTunes, radio, and all the other things all tend to look to be low margin or at least regular margin products out here in the tech space. Anyway, I was going to look at a few other things going on in the market if I can actually get these going up, because I wanted to talk about a couple of them. Maybe I've got them in here. I'm trying to remember what I did with them. Interesting thing I've been talking about for a while, that BlackBerry probably isn't worth anything and will eventually go bankrupt. Interesting article from All Things D out here today. It is, I'm going to quote it here. It's been well over a month since BlackBerry formally put itself up for sale. But interest in the much diminished smartphone pioneer has been muted. Sources close to BlackBerry tell Reuters that a handful of companies are kicking the tires, reviewing its financial and assets, and weigh the merits of a possible acquisition. But few, it seems, care to buy the company outright. They are all talking about buying bits and pieces of it. And, of course, the giant lie that's been out here for a long time has been that they can sell the patents much like Motorola did. And, of course, I've brought this up many times. They can't. Most of those have been licensed or cross-licensed already. They're already getting the money, and selling them would just be giving the money that they get from those already away. The only way that those patents will be worth something again is in a default where the rights to those patents come back to the bondholders. And I have a feeling that if this does go belly up, that probably if anybody makes any money besides the lawyers, which is a tough thing to do, let me put it that way, but if there is any money out there left that doesn't go to the attorneys on the bankruptcy, it will go to those bondholders who will be able to eventually sell those patents off. Anyway, we're going to be coming back in just a couple of minutes. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
Andy Hecht, the host of the Commodities Hour, recently launched his newsletter service, the Technomental Commodity Report, and only 6 weeks in, Andy has already recorded a triple-digit winner. Andy advised his subscribers to purchase a long-term call option at 46 cents on July 11th, and then sent out a special update Friday, August 16th, advising his subscribers to close that position at $1.40. That's a 204% profit in just 5 weeks. The Technomental Commodity Report by Andy Hecht is released each Thursday morning, and right now you can get a month-long free trial to this subscription while locking in the low introductory rate of only $39 a month. Andy Hecht has been a commodities trader for over 3 decades. Let his experience work for you. Sign up for your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report today at TFNN.com.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investments. And whether you're bullish or bearish on U.S. Treasuries, the ETFs from Direction Shares are there to help you magnify your perspective. Bull ETFs for a rising market and bear ETFs for a falling market. Direction Shares gives you the tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com. McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces. And over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a 3-fold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And as we come back to market, we'll take a look at over the pond, as they say. The FTSE was off 0.8. Germany's DAX was off 0.2. France's CAC was off 0.2. Spain off 0.1. Portugal off 1.25%. Italy off 0.1, and Irish up 0.1. And Greece probably doesn't really matter, but up 0.7. And we're seeing a lot of moves in the market that are a little bit different out here. Let's see if I can find the ticker for it. Outer Wall, OUTR. And I have to think about this several times. Outer Wall used to be known as Coinstar. Of course, they were named after their first product, which was a coin changer. They went to Redbox and went into most of the same stores. In fact, you'll see the coin counter next to the Redbox, and at least the grocery store I go to. Absolutely plummeted. They basically have gone into a mode where they're saying that their next year forecasts were going to be cut by about 20%. And when I think about it, I probably should have known a little bit more about it. Why Hollywood had a fairly decent summer, it was all on the backs of a very few films. And, of course, that means that you don't get a lot of rentals either coming up or this summer. In fact, most of the movies out here were pretty horrible. If anybody rented Mud, that was my recommendation, M-U-D, Matthew McConaughey. Pretty good one, available in the Redbox Coinstar thing. There's a great one out now called In a World. But unless you're talking about lots of space science fiction thrill ride stuff, not a lot for the actual script that goes into a lot of these movies. And that's been the problem, that most of these movies are ones that people will go to in the theaters and are not renting a great deal and aren't doing multiple day rentals. When you look at Coinstar, they actually make a lot of their money by people not bringing it back 2 or 3 days later. And unfortunately, what you have is everybody bringing them back the next day. And at the same time, Coinstar, or now Outerwall as it's called, has been doing a lot of promos. I use them occasionally, so I get a lot of emails from them. And if they're not having a big weekend, they pump out ads where they'll rent out another DVD for another 50 cents. And I've been getting a lot of those the last month. I probably should put 2 and 2 together. This thing had been in a trading range between $54.50 and $64 for all practical purposes, 65. But once they came out with that, after earnings, actually stopped and halted the stock after the bell last night. But right after 5 o'clock, it opened back up. And it was down in the 46s, I believe. But down monster volume out here. Look for this thing to go sideways for an incredible long time. It is going to be a dog out here, and it had been a dog. I shorted it twice in the newsletter and made some fairly decent money on it a few times. It actually had been a good trader. I suspect this is probably going to send it sideways for a while. And see, what else do we have going on here? Wanted to talk about a few other things that I had in my stack of stuff. See if we can find it here. Oh, yes, Twitter IPO. I haven't really talked much about this because I didn't think there was a lot to say. Twitter IPO, for those people, I had some people email me today and wanted to ask about when this is going to come out and what happens. Now that they filed their paperwork, they'll have a thing that they'll hand out to prospective investors. It used to be called, there was actually a magazine, used to be called The Red Herring. And that's what this was. And they'll work out all the strengths and weaknesses of their business. They'll put it all into that prospectus and eventually hand it to the SEC. The SEC will go over it, tell them that they probably need to have some more wording about what the problems may be in their business. And it goes along like that for a while, back and forth. But when they first put in the paperwork, at a minimum, it's 21 days. I suspect you could see something in the late October, maybe just before Thanksgiving is my guess at the moment. We'll be back in a minute.
With the stock market flirting with all-time highs and volatility back, now is the perfect time for a 2-week free trial to Market Insights. On Monday, June 24th, Tom O'Brien closed out all 5 open positions in his daily newsletter, Market Insights, with all trades being profitable and ranging from a 2.23% gain all the way to more than an 11% gain in just one position for an incredible 32.7% profit combined between the 5 trades. Let Tom O'Brien's years of market experience work for you. If you'd like to see for yourself what kind of trading newsletter Tom O'Brien delivers to his clients each morning, then now is a perfect time to sign up for a 2-week free trial to his daily newsletter, Market Insights. In a volatile market like we currently have, the potential for fast market moves like we've seen recently is a trader's dream. So don't wait any longer. Sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today at the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can't use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we are back. I got to just finish up a little bit of Twitter. For those people that haven't really focused a lot, one of the things that the street is going to do is make a absolute god-awful amount of money on the Twitter IPO. They screwed up the last big one with Facebook. They are not going to do that again. They got billions of dollars if they do it right, and they will work this out. But, when you find out what's in that original filing, it will be all kinds of stuff like how many actual users do they have? Are they all actual users? Facebook had a lot of problems going public because they had a lot of people that were just a lot of phony accounts. So people could say that lots of people were following them. They'd generate these phony accounts and then follow themselves. In fact, yesterday we saw General Motors with their hands in the cookie jar with all the IP addresses from wonderful, thankful customers, all coming from the PR department of General Motors. So they kind of a bad thing to do it, but even a worse thing to get caught. And that is some of the problems that we have out here is just what is real, what isn't. And Twitter is going to have to go through that, how much money they can actually charge and how much money they think that they can get in the future. And that is the whole CYA of the red herring. going to the SEC so that they've warned investors about all the possible things, including giant meteors and asteroids hitting the planet, all kinds of other things out here. But that'll take, normally, even if by statute, it has to take 3 weeks. By reality, the attorneys are not done until the people actually make them file paperwork, and they're more than willing to generate hours and hours of billable hours against any of these people going public, and that means that normally you don't have it leave legal until they've got all their billable hours in. And of course, Twitter will pay for that out of this IPO, but it gives them the grasp of the financial markets and the ability to raise cash anytime they want to, which is what it's all about. Boeing had a nice day yesterday, a little bit more out here today. They are getting ready to push out their upgraded version of their Dreamliner for the first time. And this, basically it's the 787-9, which I think I talked to about a few weeks ago, but getting ready to push that out. It's going to be 20 feet longer than the standard 787-8, hold 40 more passengers. But as long as they have a decent test flight with the FAA, they probably figured out most of the problems with the first version of it. This a slightly stretched version of it, but certainly if you can haul 40 more passengers and carry a lot more cargo, always good. But I think they pushed it onto the tarmac and we're getting it ready. And that news yesterday was enough to push Boeing up yet again in this marketplace. What do I want to see? I guess I had a couple of people ask me about why Apple's 64-bit processor, why if it's just a PR stunt, and the actual answer is no. Does it really matter for the speed of the new iPhone? The answer is also no. What it does mean, though, is that you can run emulators and the software on the 64-bit chip in your PC, or in the case of Apple, in their iMac, will basically have the same instruction set as the one in the phone. So for development, since it's harder and harder to get machines today that are strictly 32-bit, probably a wise choice, more spin than reality on how it's going to be any better. Again, when Windows went from 32-bit to 64-bit, normally operations took about 10% longer than the 32-bit version. Now, the reason to go to 64-bit on a PC is just being able to address that much more memory, or make a file that is just that much bigger. And on 32-bit, you had pretty much the limit of about 4.5 gigabytes, which was the size of a DVD. Once Blu-rays and those things came along, you needed to address a whole lot more, and certainly made it a lot easier to do so with a 64-bit processor. So you take the hit and you move on, but it's a fast processor. A lot of it doesn't have anything to do with 64-bit, other than you are going to move all these smartphones to 64-bit, so that they'll match the emulators that everybody's writing software on. And they'll be slightly slower for the same processor, but most of these processors are much, much faster than the ones available even 12 months ago. So not a big deal on that. So anyway, it, of course, has the fingerprint sensor. People ask me about that. I guess the idea is that someone can't break into your phone. I'll address that since I started programming for Android. All of these phones have a special cable. It's called a factory cable. I ordered one for $6 off of eBay, plugged it into my Kindle, and got right into the base part of the operating system. There's the exact same thing for iPhones. So if you want to keep somebody out, you're going to keep your buddy out who wants to play with it. If you really want to hack fingerprints, all I need is glass, and about $25, I can go to Radio Shack and buy all the items I need and walk out the door for $25 with a scanner. And if I can get a hold of your fingerprint, I can make one that'll work on their fingerprint identification system or anybody's fingerprint identification system. To the chagrin of a lot of people, Mythbusters showed how you did it. They left a few items out, but I think it's easy enough for anybody with average intelligence to figure out what those steps were. But they were able to bust into just about every one of the systems out there, you can buy just a few things and make your own fingerprint out of silicone, put it on the end of your finger, and put it on, and that's all it's going to take. So between that and a actual factory cable for both Android and these phones, if someone gets physical possession of your phone, it's not going to matter. The only difference is going to be whether or not they can actually hack your phone in 30 seconds, and the answer is no, but they couldn't with the same thing with the 1234 unlock code on the front of them either. So probably not a big deal. Probably bigger are the motion sensors for people that jog. It's got a better camera software, and, of course, the faster processor. So the 5S is going to be probably pretty good. I think we're probably going to see a little bounce back up to about 470 for expiration on Friday for Apple. Let's see if there was anything else here. Now we looked at the Boeing company. I'm going to go ahead and pull up some other stocks out here that had me interested in them. Some of these had been in my newsletter over the last couple of days. One of them was YY. I actually think we brought that up on the Friday show or Thursday show last week. This thing had come up and breached the previous high of August 2nd that had $48 with 4.6 million shares. Broke above it, could not hold that 48 high on September 10th with 3.5 million shares, so 1.1 million shares short, or 25%, and it has moved back into that trading range. Now, what we did have, especially if you have the art of timing the trade charts, is the power law vector indicator. You can actually see that energy was not bad coming back up to this high. And it wasn't really bad up here at the high. It's just less than the previous one out here. So you can expect it probably to go sideways for a while, but not a big short signal. Just too much energy when I compare the down leg from $48 to $36.19 to the up leg, which was $36.19 up to $49.82. Now, yeah, did it go $1.82 higher? It did, but certainly, even if you didn't have that, the energy would be about the same probably if we didn't actually put that extra $1.82 in. My point, though, is we're always looking to cull the weakest from the herd. And this is giving us the energy down is about the same as the energy up. So all we can draw from the high test out here with lighter volume is that this thing is not ready to break out and go higher at the moment. Other stocks that have given some fairly decent signals, pretty much the exact same thing. You got a little bit more energy on the last leg up on Yahoo. But once we get up here, the energy just fell apart. 83 million shares, July 18th, $29.83, 83 million shares. So we get over that. You can't hold it that day. Kind of pushing it up on a very, very light volume of 6 million shares. But just remember, if this thing pops out in the next couple of days, you need over $30. You need at least this thing to go sideways for a while to burn off this 83 million shares, or you're going to need 83 million shares. And I don't think we're going to get that anytime soon in Yahoo. Xerox, another one out here. Another one that where the energy isn't all that bad up to the high, but we do hit the high. Went over it by 2 cents yesterday on half the volume. So a lot of these, energy's not bad, but it's just about the same. It isn't like we had a lot of energy up to this high and then ran out of juice at the last moment. Energy was about the same. We got up here and ran out of juice. Now, we talk a lot about on this show about options expiration. I wanted to get into a couple of things today, why we have time left. Oh, we've got a question from Lou in Nashua. How are you doing today, Lou?
Good, Dave. How are you doing?
Fantastic. So what's your question
I got
today?
a question about the S&P.
Okay.
Do you see it going any further or not? I got some S&P future calls, and I'm just wondering whether to bail right now before the Fed.
I have absolutely no idea what the Fed's going to do. They've set this market up. Everybody is pretty much locked to about 1685 for expiration on Friday. That is not enough for me to put a position up out front. I'm just going to wait and react to the news tomorrow. I am not going to anticipate it. I don't think that anybody truly knows what the Fed's going to do and how it's going to be received. So I actually wrote in my newsletter yesterday. You ever watch The Karate Kid?
No. Yes, I did. Sure.
Okay. Sure. Mr. Miyagi was talking to Danielson, and he says, best way to avoid fight, not be there. I just don't see right now a abiding belief in either higher or lower prices that makes me want to get involved in this. I don't have to trade, and I'm going to stand back and wait, and I'll trade the reaction to this and not try to anticipate it too much. A lot of times I will just by the strength of the volume coming up or something like this. But for me right now, this whole thing's a coin flip. We could go sideways for a week even after this. I just don't see a lot of desire for higher prices, but I do see almost a rabid desire by the bulls to buy any pullback. So, could we, right now, options are saying that we should go to about 1670 or 1675 on the S&P. That's just not enough for me. If Bernanke doesn't come out tapering tomorrow, this market could be at 2,000 by Christmas for the S&Ps, because there'll be absolutely no belief that he's ever going to taper, and people are just going to go hog wild. And that's how bubbles are made and how they end. So if he starts tapering, though, the question is how much, and I don't have that answer. There's a lot of speculation. So I'm just going to wait and stand by the sidelines and wait for a better opportunity. I just don't see it right here.
Okay. Thank you, David.
You bet. It's okay not to trade. You don't have to. No one's forcing you to. I always wait until at least I suspect that I've got an abiding belief that I've got a edge in the marketplace, and I just don't suspect that I have that edge at the moment. What I wanted to talk about here, if I can get it up here, was talking about options expiration. And I've got two examples I want to get in before the end of the day. We're going to see, let's see what else out here. We're going to look at IBM's expiration. And this gives you a good idea. We talk about options expiration pointing to the most likely place that a stock will expire on Friday. And I want to give a positive here of what is a very good indication, which is IBM. Then we're going to come back and show some other ones that have a little bit more room. We'll be back in a minute.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
On Wednesday, August 14th and Thursday, August 15th, Tom O'Brien advised his Gold Report subscribers to close out 6 of their 9 open positions, all winning trades ranging from a 10.6% profit to an incredible 48% profit in just one equity. And all 6 of those winning trades had been initiated no earlier than just the previous month. With the 600th weekly Gold Report issue fast approaching, Tom O'Brien brings an incredible wealth of knowledge and experience to the gold market and the equities within the industry. That's almost 12 years since this powerful newsletter first began, and right now you can get a 30-day free trial to the Gold Report by visiting TFNN.com. Make sure you're a subscriber, as this volatile gold market provides trading opportunities after declining all the way from $1,900 to under $1,200 an ounce in only 2 years. Get your 30-day free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting TFNN.com. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Questions are the answer. You want a better life? Ask a better question. My driving force in life is, how can I become the intelligence behind financial freedom? It's why I take massive action. It's why I've invested over 10,000 hours and thousands of dollars to create the answer, the ultimate money machine. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, and on Friday, September 27th, I'll be hosting a one-day online master trader course, The Ultimate Money Machine, where I'll teach you the exact same trading strategies that I use every day when trading the markets and advising my newsletter subscribers. Learn how to precisely identify the market's next move, when to pull the trigger by letting the market commit to you before you commit to it, and how to manage your trade to maximize your results, just as we did in the month of August, when I advised my newsletter subscribers of 11 new trades resulting in 1 loss and a combined profit of 129%. Our next move? It's days away. The cost of this course, $595, less than $2.50 per trading session over the next year. If you're looking for the answer, it's the Ultimate Money Machine. All the details on the front page of TFNN.com.
Join Andy Hecht as he teaches you how to make money in commodities. The Commodities Hour, next on TFNN.
Anyway, we still have time if you're a quick draw to call at 877-927-6648. In the meantime, I've got to move something out here. Andy Hecht is stalking us, and I see his chart pop up there. What do we have on these options expiration curve? I wanted to show IBM first. And this is how you can tell that the option market makers are going to pin a stock at 190 in the case of IBM, most likely on Friday. Both the September puts and the October September options, both the puts and calls, and the October puts and calls have almost the exact same number at 190 for expiration this Friday. And of course, when they get this close, this is normally deadly accurate. You're probably there's an 85% chance, probably a 90% chance of IBM expiring at 190. And, there's always a 15% chance something else happens. But option market makers are betting on that 190, and they're betting on it huge. Now, we can look at some other ones, and here's where it gets a little cloudy, and sometimes these don't point to a number that people can actually see. And this is done, by the way, by adding how much money would be won and lost at expiration at every single price point out here. Now, one of the ones I'm showing you now is Google. And this makes it a lot tougher, but it also means that you have a much broader range. Google is just a little under 860 for this Friday, but when you look at the October calls out there, it's at 875. Some people call options volatility. They call it the options volatility smile. I call this the expiration smile. And when we look at these, we've got basically a little bit bearish here in the near term, a little bit more bullish, slightly more bullish in the next month. What you normally see when you see these is a indication that probably isn't going to be as accurate as the one we saw in IBM. Same thing when we go to some of these others. But some people call it the wisdom of crowds, and it is one of those going to be very give me just a second here while this comes up. Unfortunately, this has to actually take a lot of things. And here's where I'm saying that I think we've got a pretty good expiration for around 470, 475 on Apple. When we look at both this month, the front month, the September calls and puts, and the October puts and calls, we're only about $3 away from each other. Probably a pretty good indication that everybody is looking at both the Octobers and Septembers and saying the same thing, and that is that probably a little slight bias. If we go back and look at the actual numbers back in here, we're probably going to see a lot more 470s than 475s, and they'll probably push it down to that 470 range, or at least try to for expiration on Friday. So we'll be joining you. Of course, we get in here at 2 o'clock, and we're going to have a little bit of time to prepare and see how the Fed's statement was reacted to. And we'll be looking at a lot of stocks. I'm going to be spending a lot of time tonight because good opportunity probably tomorrow to make a lot of money on the tail end of the announcement. But again, I will be reacting to, not anticipating, the movement tomorrow. Anyway, we'll see you again the same time. Hang on for Andy Heck as he's stalking me. I see him hiding around the corner, keeping his eyes out. He'll be next. See you then.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page at TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.